Hi, this is BizDev Weekly, the business development show. I'm Kirsten Kloss. Thanks very much for watching. On today's show, what I'd like to do is highlight cold calling. And obviously, you've seen what I've had to offer here, and we're intrigued by the alternative methods to cold calling. Well, here's the bottom line. Why do we cold call? Well, we cold call because we see results. Historically and traditionally, people have picked up the phone, looked at a list, contacted that list, and connected with people and got results. Now, the problem is that dialing for dollars is a very time-consuming process. And most of the phone calls that are going out are interrupting people at times they don't want to be interrupted. And essentially, most of the people that you're calling are not qualified. They're not ready to buy. They're not interested in your product at the time. And what you end up doing basically is you're advertising yourself every time you make that phone call. So it's a very inefficient way to do it, but people do it because you see results. I mean, you make 150 phone calls, you get one that closes or converts, and you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you get a deal. But fundamentally, it's a very inefficient process. There are alternative ways to do that. And in the modern world, there's great syndication systems that you can use in order to effectively pre-campaign your cold calls. So essentially, if you could take all of those call lists, condense them down into only those that are interested in your product and make follow-up calls, that's a far more effective way of using your precious time in order to be able to connect with potential clients. Now, I'm going to go right off tangent here and explain to you a technique that involves traditional media that was otherwise way out of the range of small and medium-sized companies or individuals, and bring that into the fold here for you. And I'm talking about television. Not television in the sense of big TV and networks. I'm talking about television in the sense of directly targeted television programming to your target market, specifically delivering information based on the fact that you have statistical information on what that target market is interested in. Now, I'm going to go back to the 70s here and traditional media. Look at traditional media the way it evolved. 1970s, one channel, one set of programming, and only a small select group of very large companies who could advertise, like soap companies and food products. They were the only ones. So the Procter & Gamble's, the Johnson & Johnson's, they were the ones who advertised on those one channels because they were appealing to the masses. What happened with cable television? Saw a shift. Now all of a sudden you had specialty programming. You had many channels all targeting specific interests. All of a sudden now the sizes of the companies dropped and they were able to target their products to specific niches. Now as the internet came along, all of a sudden everyone was fragmenting their information out, and essentially the early adopters got good exposure from that, but still cable television became the dominant advertising piece for that type of media. So what was happening basically is cable television was going more local, and you could advertise to local audiences with your products. So you're starting to see smaller and smaller companies who could afford the television advertising on cable to deliver their message. Well, what's happening now is everything is starting to change with the convergence of social media and television. So this is something that companies aren't doing yet, but it's an opportunity for any early adopter to jump in and really make a mark and dig into potential markets they otherwise would have never imagined they could get into. And I'll explain this to you here in a short presentation here on how this is done. I'll give you an example of how this can be done for your business. And what we do here with New Lucid is we create shows very similar to BizDev Weekly, where we create a show about your company, about your product. But the show isn't about selling your product like traditional media. It needs to entertain, it needs to inform, it needs to highlight and sensitize the target market with programming. Essentially, that becomes a trust piece. Then what happens is, following that programming, your advertising shows up. So what we do is we deliver that programming specifically to a niche where we identify through the statistical data that it's available for all advertisers on big social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn and Google. And what we do is we segment that list down, and we only deliver the programming to them basically using the timelines that they follow every single day. This is a very, in my opinion, it's one of the most exciting evolutions in media, and this is exactly what I want to show you here. So watch this programming, and I'll follow up later with sort of a recap. Thanks for watching. What I'm doing here today is I'm going to show you and explain to you an offer that I can get you in front of hundreds of targeted leads and be in front of them for weeks after they engage with you. So I will find them, I will engage them, I will bring them in, I will attract them to you and your product, and then I will follow them. Now take a look at how I do this. Right now there's my my page on LinkedIn. I have these posts here that are these are videos that I've created with people. Here's one of Brett Wilson that we've interviewed. Now what happens is whenever anybody engages with me, I start following them on the internet. You see at the top here? I Get You Leads, that's one of my ads on the top of the financial post. Second location, Calgary Herald here. If you go down a little further, by the way, there's one of my clients' ads here, EPCM Software. You go a little further down, there's my ad, I Get You Leads. Third example would be Inc. Magazine. There are thousands of websites. There's my ad again. You hate cold calling, I have the solution. So here's the bottom line. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer to set up a campaign for you. And there are 3 steps in the process. The first step is I have to position you as a superstar in your business. I got to position you as the subject matter expert. And how I do that is using an interview video. I interview you using Skype. The same way I interviewed Brett Wilson here on our show, I will interview you and position you as a subject matter expert. Then what I will do is I will post you on my social networks and promote you to thousands of companies, and we will target the messaging only to the specific niches that you're looking for in the geographic location you're looking for. We will attract them to a landing page, and that's number 2 in this 3 steps. The second step is we're going to bring them in, and we're going to bring them into a landing page that is going to start to track them. Whether they connect with you or not, at that point we are going to then create the third step, which is to follow them around the internet wherever they are on the internet. Now this is a 3-step process. The overall package to get started starts at about $1,200 to get everything, including the interview and your first campaign going, and we will have you basically set up with your first 100 companies that you're going to be following. Look on this page for special offers and special deals to get started really quickly here. This is a great offer for anyone that's trying to break into new markets, or anyone who's trying to create more brand dominance and more penetration into an industry. I will guarantee that I'll get you in front of these companies and these individuals and have you follow them basically all over the internet with your banner advertising. And so essentially, for if you can imagine, for under $1,000 you can have your own television show and delivered to your target market specific to their demographic alignment to your product. Sensitize them, inform them, highlight their interest, and then afterwards deliver banner advertising that follows them around the internet, reinforcing your product as a solution to the programming. And the bottom line is that when people are ready to buy, if the more they see you and the more that you're in their wheelhouse, the greater the chance that they're going to contact you. And what's going to happen then is they're going to engage you first, and then your follow-up call becomes that cold call that turns into a sale. So it's a completely different way of looking at it. Now I offer this I only service one client per geographic location in one niche. I won't compete two of my clients together. So it's real important is that you fill in the information below. Find out if you're qualified as far as a client of mine. Like I won't do 2 mortgage brokers. I won't do 2 dentists in Calgary. I'll make sure that you're not competing against each other, because I want all of my efforts to be focused on one market specifically. Fill in the information below, and I'll get back to you with some ideas on how we can maybe do a test campaign and see how this all starts for you. So I'm Kirsten Kloss. You're watching BizDev Weekly. Thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Bye for now.